And we have our Democratic debate 2016. We have David Serrano Garcia, representative from North Carolina, taking on Senior Senator of Nevada, Troy Hay, in this fierce competition for the Democratic nomination. Who will win? This is a chance for our Democratic candidates to convince the voters that they are the best Democrat to take on whatever Republican that will win. It is the Democratic debate 2016. All right. We begin with Senior Senator Troy Hay. He will make his opening statement.
So I would like to thank JP for the chance to get to debate my opponent. This is a very important election. It is one where we begin to realize that there are different people and there are different. Can you hear me? What happened? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. There's difference of opinions. We have to understand that there's going to be people who do not agree with us and people who do agree with us. But the people who don't agree with us, we need to comfort them, and we need to realize that this country was founded on people not agreeing and people opposing each other's ideas. We weren't founded on a dictatorship. And if I'm honored to be the next president, I will gladly work with each party. I have been bipartisan in the Senate. I am number 25 in the most bipartisan senators as a Democrat from Nevada. That is very impressive. And I think my record speaks for itself. I introduced a tax bill that would protect the middle class, and the lower class from the wealthiest few and the high up corporates. Big pharma should not, and I say that again, should not be raising drug taxes on senior citizens and other people who do not have the money to pay for their health care. Obamacare was a good thing, but I believe that there should be more added on, not just tear it apart like most Republicans say it. Because if we do that, it's just going to create more division, and that's not what we want in America. We want to bring all of our people together because we are all the same people. We all wake up under the same sun, and we all go to bed under the same moon. Thank you.
All right, David, your response, your opening statement. Keep in mind there is no rebuttal for the opening statement.
Yes, sir.
Do I have to say even though
All right,
I
David.
said it previously? I have said it previously. Do I have to say it again?
David,
I heard it. I already heard it. But
hold on.
I mean, I liked it. So no, I mean if I can say that, that's considered a rebuttal.
Do I have to say it again, or am I okay?
Hold on. I'm going to leave and then rejoin.
Okay.
Oh my God! There is always someone who has trouble with something.
I know. I'm tired.
Are you tired?
Yes, I'm very tired.
Why?
It's almost 9 o'clock here.
Well, what time zone is that?
I'm on not Ocean. I'm on Central Time. I'm on Chicago time.
Oh, Chicago time.
Yeah.
And
We
you're
celebrate New Year's
sleeping?
2nd.
And you're sleeping over there?
No, I'm not sleeping yet. It's already almost 8:30 though. I'm tired.
For where I am, it's 9:26.
Oh, so you're on Ocean time. You're on New York City. You guys celebrate New Year's first, right?
New Year's first, yes.
Yes. Okay, yeah. That's why.
How you say it.
Excuse me. But yeah, what is he not coming back? Should we just debate it by ourselves? Hey, it's just a suggestion. I mean, you never know. I mean, I have debated by myself when I thought there was people in here for the first time and there wasn't. So it was kind of embarrassing. It was my first time when I've only been on I was on Meg for about, it would have been a year in June until it ended, but I it was, do you remember Jackery?
No.
Um anyway, he put together a debate. It was between me and Dom. You know Dom Khan?
Oh, Dom Cons. Well,
Yeah, that's funny. Ah, ha ha ha. Anyway,
it's
but
not funny in the sense that like it's funny. It's funny because like he was. Oh my god. He was my opponent
oh really?
twice already. Yes, the first time
Oh,
he was victorious. The second time I was victorious.
that's cool. Yeah, I voted you on for you in one of these things. I cannot remember. I vote for random people in the polls. I don't play regular mech. I play like fake mechs. Oh, I think
He's
we
All
got
back.
somebody.
right. We
Can you hear
will.
me?
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, first question: in this era of partisanship, I, it is great that you two are both bipartisan. However, there the Democratic base is important in appealing to and winning the presidency. How will you appeal to the base and progressive voters while still maintaining both of your bipartisan records? We start with Troy.
Okay. So in the Senate, me being bipartisan, I reached across the aisle with my family's first bill, which um, helped gain a lot of Republican support, but also gained lots of Democratic support because we realized that if we wanted to pass a bill, it needed to be at least 2/3 majority in the Senate. That's the only way that I would vote on the bill if it had 2/3 majority with my colleagues. But other than that, um, with the progressive side, I've never I've never technically been called a progressive. I've just been considered a person who wants to move the country forward and wants to listen to the ideas of the American people and get different sides of, because there's always different sides to each argument. But with progressives, the Democratic Party is so diverse, and that's what I love about the Democratic Party, because you can be a conservative in the Democratic Party, like Kirsten Sinema. She's more of a like a centrist-ish conservative, if we can call her that, or like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, where she's progressive, and Bernie Sanders, who's progressive. I like that part. I like that with the party, and I think I can reach out to them because bringing the country is together is more important to me than being divisive and calling people certain names, calling people like Republicans deplorables. I won't do that. It's the time. This time is we have to be very cautious with the words that we use, and I believe bringing the country together is the most important thing to do. And I think myself and my opponent both agree with that, both agree with the statement, and I would be glad either way to see my opponent or myself be the nominee. I will not be running an independent campaign.
All right. David, we go to you.
So most of the statements that I have made in my previous opening statement are very similar to the ones made by my opponent just now. But I will say them again. I will support everyone, including the middle class, because they need to be maintained and helped to have a good living and a good income to provide for their children if they have children, or for their families or themselves. and also for the people who don't usually feel welcomed in places such as like LGBT people, citizens in the community that feel like they are not welcome or like they are not accepted where they live. There should be a
In the
some.
community that.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
I didn't say anything. I promise.
Yeah, I heard you, but
All right.
I
JP
heard,
was like,
Is he
someone
done?
said something.
Huh?
Did you let him finish? He was finishing.
Oh, sorry.
okay, so and many like people suffering with depression feel alone. We need to let them know that they should not feel alone. They will always have someone who should be there for them. And if they don't have a certain person, such as a parent or someone that they can trust, we should provide
All right.
invest some time to finding to getting counseling.
Any rebuttals?
I have a rebuttal, but it's not anything bad.
All right.
Can I have a 15-second rebuttal?
30.
Okay. So being an LGBTQ candidate, I don't like to classify myself as that because I feel like people overuse their I don't them being LGBTQ means that they have privileges or rights. I don't feel privileged at all. I am an American. I feel free, and I am glad that the Supreme Court has legalized gay marriage. I will not put that my personal feelings on anything. I simply am who I am, and I will not use that against anyone.
All right. Um, Hold on. I'm going to leave the call again and then rejoin and hear David. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh my God, there's always a problem. I'm telling you.
I know. I know.
David, your response?
I agree with my opponent. He has stated something
Hey,
very
David, do you have a rebuttal?
no. The only rebuttal is like I agree with what he's saying.
In the community, that means that they have privileges or rights. I don't feel privileged. He has stated something
Hey,
very.
David, do you have a rebuttal?
No.
The only.
Hold on, I can't hear both of you.
Hello.
Ugh, he left. I heard him.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. I can clearly hear you.
Okay.
All right,
Perfect.
I can
hear you.
clearly hear both of you.
Okay. I don't want to press anything because I'm scared if I press something, it'll screw everything up. So I'm not touching my phone at all.
Yeah, yeah. This is we're trying to make this work here. Sorry, folks.
Of course. You're fine. I am very patient.
Yeah, I'm glad we're having this debate right now. All right. Next question. The Affordable Care Act. There are those on the left who say it's not far enough, and those on the right who say it's gone too far. Where are you on the Affordable Care Act? Should we keep it the way it is, or should we make some changes? And if so, what changes need to be made? Let's begin with you, David.
I think the Affordable Care Act is a very good thing for the healthcare. It makes things more easier to manage for people such as, oh my God, the middle class. It helps them be have better access to the proper healthcare that they would need, and I don't think there would be maybe some minor changes to allow allow healthcare to be equally accessible to every single citizen. not like having people living in cities having better access than people who live in the countryside have, to make it like balance out for everybody, to not have people having more access than others.
Troy Hay, your response.
So I believe there are pros and cons of Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, it's called by some. Um, there's some things I do not support, such as we were like keeping your doctor. Keeping your doctor, I do support keeping your doctor, but it was never, they never went through with it, which it definitely affected me because I was about Obamacare. It definitely affected me and my family because we were forced to get a doctor. But I think that one of the biggest benefits of the Affordable Care Act is that it slows the rise of healthcare rates. It it is helped since its enactment in 2010. It has helped over 32 million people, and it has helped the lower income people gain access to healthcare. And it helped because back then in the early 2000s, most people in the lower class did not have healthcare, or they were not required. And once it was required, I think it definitely helped a lot. And insurance companies can no longer deny anyone with pre-existing conditions, which they did, and that's what Obamacare stopped. But with Obamacare, the premiums and the penalties were so high that people that didn't have them would have to pay over $6,000 once it was once the penalty was moved up. And that's just where everybody got slashed and cut. Like it got so bad. And we were promised we would be able to keep our doctors and um others and such promises that were not kept. But we the Republicans just want to scratch it off. It's not that simple. There's other liberal Republicans that still say that Obamacare helps a lot, but always to every bill, there's always just a few things that are wrong with it. If we could just get together with the whole Congress, which it may not feel like reality, but we must get together as Congress to fix the problem. We were elected to fix these problems. We weren't elected to just argue about them and vote with our party. We have to make that choice and make that dangerous commitment to either support it or not support it. We need to fix the problems with Obamacare. We can change the name, whatever the Republicans want, but we want to work with them to fix the problems of Obamacare. We get that there's problems, but we need to fix them. We can't just keep bickering about them, the same thing. What the American people brought us to Washington to do. And that's not what people of Nevada wanted me to do. They chose me because I was bipartisan and I wanted to get the job done. And that's what I'll do as president.
All right. Any rebuttals?
No.
Troy?
No, sir.
All right. Let's go to our next question.
Wait. Can I say one thing real fast? Just really one thing.
All right, yeah.
Okay, so with the other part of Obamacare, I almost forgot to add because I wanted to add another part. With the other part of Obamacare, like 3 to 5 million people lost their like employment-based health insurance and health insurance, and I felt like that shouldn't have happened because you should been able to keep your if your employer gave you or offered you health insurance, you should be able to keep it. And that was one of the promises that Obama told us in 2008 that we would be able to keep our employee based health insurance, and we weren't.
All right. So the Republican field is crowded with contenders. Jackson Hitchcock, AJ Walker, and Infinite Kid. Any comments you would like to make about any of the Republican contenders? We will begin with David again.
I don't think we should focus right at this point on the Republican debates because for right now the focus because we should not be paying attention we should not be paying attention to a primary, well, not as much attention to the primary for the Republicans because that will be their choice. We need to focus more on the Democratic choice for president, and so I don't have that much of an opinion on the Republican primary. I have more of an opinion on the Democratic one. So,
all right, Troy Hay.
I I'd rather just stay in. I have nothing to say honestly about the people in the Republican Party. I believe that we're all contending for the spot. There's uh, the White House, and we're all people. But what I can say is, by far, I have been the candidate that has been campaigning the most, and I mean, nobody can doubt it because I mean I've been campaigning the most in everywhere. I've been in Iowa, New Hampshire. I was recently in Guam, met people there. I I got to meet the governor of Guam, Lou Guerrero. And she told me something about Guam. Guam is one of the first islands to wake up, or is the first islands to see the sun that we own. And I didn't understand what she meant at first, and she she kind of made me think a little bit like we all live breathe the same air, we all wake up under the same sun. And I believe that the Republicans are just as contenders as we are, and we may have different views, but I still have Republican friends that I care about deeply. And I believe my opponent is he understands that we cannot be there's no more there's no more divisiveness, there's no more time for it. We must come together as one people and defeat the diversity in this country. It's right now there's three candidates on the Republican side, which is it's crowded, but we haven't seen anything from them. We haven't heard anything from that, what their views are, what they're going through. The Democratic Party, the Democratic candidates have at least said what they want to do. We both put out at least one statement, one campaign event, and I believe the Democrats have the best chance of winning because we are ready to confront the Republicans on some vital and key issues in this race. And I believe that if we have the chance, and I haven't decided who my VP candidate is, but I will be making my announcement in the next day or so.
I think I kind of have an idea of who that guy is. And believe me, I know him. He's friends with me. I think he goes to.
But if I have given the chance to lead the nation, you can entrust in me that I will put Republicans on my cabinet. I will not have a completely partisan cabinet. I will have independents, Republicans, and Democrats. I don't want to be a president of the Democratic Party. I want to be the president of the United States for the American people, not for my party. I am not working for my party. I'm working for my people. That's who I am.
All right. We go over to a very controversial issue. As you know, this case is between a cake baker refusing to serve an LGBT couple. Is it the cake baker's right to deny service to anyone, or is it the LGBT couple's right to not be denied service based on who they are? Candidates, your response. We will start with Troy.
So I do not believe that the the anybody, an owner, should refuse a anyone with, if it's color, race, gender, um, ethnic background, religion, may it be anything, color, creed, anything. And I think it's destructive that they do that. But we also have to remember that when it comes to what happened back in the Civil War, they they did the same exact thing. So this right now, it's not even different than what they did back then. It's just a different meaning. This is just with LGBTQ or Muslims. And it's ridiculous that we are even thinking about not, like with the cake, with baking the cake. If a person is that are not xenoph
Homophobic.
if they're homophobic, I know the word, I'm just so tired. But
That's right.
if they were so homophobic that they wouldn't refuse the gentleman's cake, I don't think they should be in business anymore. And no state should allow that. I believe they were in Indiana. Was that it? Is that it? Is that the state that am I
I believe
correct?
so. Yeah.
Uh, and the governor, Mike Pence, was very strongly supported the owner of the bakery, and I lashed out at that. I do that is totally that is totally homophobic. Is totally against what we stand for as Americans. We are the First Amendment gives us the right to freedom of speech, freedom of press, and freedom of religion. If I mean, I guess we would have to add freedom of gender identity or sexual orientation. I mean, it's obvious. So when these bakery owners, and I respect them, I respect all small business owners, but they do not have the right to refuse anyone business. That should be illegal, and it needs to be overturned in every state. And I cannot ask the Supreme Court, but I would encourage the Supreme Court to vote no on letting bakery or any owners refuse service to anyone. It's just not right. That's not who we are as Americans.
Yeah, but isn't that government intervention?
It would be a government intervention only because it would be against the First Amendment if they did that. It's a free it's we it's a freedom. I mean, we have a freedom of religion. I mean, if we
Yeah, but as you
classify that as
pointed
religion,
out, we have a freedom of speech, we have a freedom of religion, we have a freedom of press. Not none of it really.
and it doesn't go in depth with sexual orientation. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
and this is
That's
small
correct.
business. This is not a
That's
public
correct.
place, right?
That is correct. But when it comes to small business, there should not we should I'm sorry, there should not be we should be holding ourselves to higher standards and not criticizing people because I'm
All
gonna be
right.
honest here. I'm gonna be honest here. I did not choose to be gay, and and God made me this way, and I'm Christian, and I believe that God made me this way, and He made me this way for a reason. And if anybody has anything to say about it, they can. I won't listen to them. I just won't. I had I have nothing to say to them. I will ignore them.
All right.
And that's what I think that we're lacking is being quiet and not knowing how to shut our mouths.
All right. That's Troy's response, David.
To show my bipartisanship, I can tell you that I I sub- I will I lean more towards the couple than the baker. I understand that most conservatives would back the baker, and that most liberals or progressives would back the couple. But this is a conflict between freedom of speech and gay rights. And personally, I believe that the baker would just because they do not go by his faith does not mean that they should be denied service. They should be served even if it goes against what he believes because they have the right to be served and the right to have to be excuse me, the right to be served. But then again, the baker has freedom of speech as well. So if he also freedom of religion. So if something doesn't go by his faith, the government might force him to to de- to give them service or to deny them service. I believe that the baker should like have given like some more bit more like polite. I'm not saying he wasn't polite, but like he should have had like an alternate thing to do in that case if he considers
All right,
if
yeah, but like, so are you agreeing with Troy that we need government to step in situations like that?
well not I believe they should be have to step in, but not in like a forceful manner, like in a manner to like negotiate
I have
with
rebuttal
us
once he's done.
All
with
right,
us
yeah.
Baker.
Okay, so
All right,
we
Troy,
okay.
your rebuttal.
Okay, so I believe so in the 1960s it was with you remember the university um the deal with George Wallace not allowing the African American students to enter the college because they were black, and we saw the attorney general go to the state and request that George Wallace step step aside and let them through. George Wallace was at the time he was still the commander in chief of the Alabama National Guard, or the commander in chief is what we call is what I think they call it, or yeah. Anyway, um, we saw it was Robert Kennedy at the time request that he step aside so they let the students come in. JFK said no. So Bobby Kennedy got on his phone, called the president, and and he
I'm sorry.
demanded. Can you hear me?
The rebuttal's 30 seconds. You know that, right?
Oh, oops. I'm sorry. I can't keep track of time. But
Oh,
anyway, we saw
just
the
get
government
that.
step in. But sorry, I can't see. I'll finish. But they saw the government step in, and I think that's what we need to do: get the government to step in, but not take their rights away. Exactly. It's just a little different.
All right. David, do you have a rebuttal to the rebuttal?
I do not have a rebuttal to the rebuttal.
To the rebuttal.
The rebuttal. The
Can I have
rebuttal.
rebuttal?
Rebuttal to
Can I,
rebuttal. Rebuttal. All
can I
right.
have the rebuttal to the rebuttal to the rebuttal? Is it
No,
okay?
no, 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 no. All right. Our next question. So we will go to the heated issue of abortion.
Oh, this is the big one.
Yeah, this is a big one.
Okay.
So
Who's
big
gonna start?
that they made a movie out of it, unplanned, #4 at the box office. I watched it. Very good movie. Anyway, let's get down to the point. Do you side with the right to life, or do you side with the right to choose?
Who's going first?
Troy.
Okay. So I believe I am a firm believer in a woman's right to choose, but I do not believe that after the third trimester, anything after the third trimester is a no, because of the fact that the fetus is already developed, the heartbeat is already beating after 5 weeks. But I believe if there is a danger to a woman's anything with women's health, is anything with the woman, the mom or the mother, sorry, is in danger, I believe there should be that it's fine for an abortion. After anything after the third trimester is a no. But anyway, I'm a firm believer in the woman's right to choose.
All right, David, your response.
Well, I don't really have a response because because the opinion that I was planning to say has already been said by my opponents.
Oh, come on, you two are agreeing on everything.
But isn't that a good thing? The United States should be agreeing on it with each other, not disagreeing with each other.
Yeah, but
That is right. Thank
I'm
you.
trying to find, the differences between you two, and
Well, we have differences. We have differences. I'm sure we do. Everybody has differences.
yes, but
this time,
it's kind of hard to find when you two are just agreeing on literally everything.
but but let's be clear. Let's be clear. America needs unity, not division at this time.
Yeah, true.
And I think it would be if it's. Would you rather it be? Okay, I'm just gonna say whoever I am picking him as my opponent, as my vice presidential running mate, because he, besides everybody else, he's one of the most active people, and he's actually he is not as divisive as everybody else is. We agree on so many things,
Oh,
and
you're
if
going
he
to
wins,
pick David.
if he does win, okay, can I finish?
Sorry.
If he does win, I would gladly bow out of the race if it is clear that I am to lose, and I will be happy to continue to serve the people of Nevada for another 2 years in the Senate. And I'm gladly to bow out. I will not run an independent campaign, and I'm getting too old for it anyway. So, ha ha ha.
All right, I thought you were going to pick Alex Trump as your VP at first.
No, sorry. But I did not decide. I did not decide until yesterday who I was going to pick. I kind of knew, but I didn't officially decide until I heard his last response on Obamacare, which inevitably I chose him because he's probably one of the smartest people on the community. Just saying.
Who is it?
Who? Alex Trump? Wait, what are you talking? Wait, what are we talking about? Are we still talking about
who's your VP going to be if you win?
David's going to be my VP, 100%.
Oh, wow, that's weird. Anywho, can you guys at least give me a hint on what you guys disagree on so I could get to that?
Okay, I'm 100% for gun rights.
All right, gun rights. All right, what's your stance on gun rights?
Okay,
we will start with David.
Okay, I don't think there will be much difference because he said he's for gun rights or gun rights or gun control.
I am a firm believer in the Second Amendment. My people elected me in Nevada, and most of them are gun-bearing citizens, but I do believe there should be strict background checks. It should not be where it's the Tea Party where there's no background checks at all. If you are mentally insane, or you have known drug problems, or you have known police arrests or anything, you should not be able to have a gun. That's where it stands. That's where it hits the line for me.
Dios mío.
Sorry, I didn't mean to take up your time. I'm sorry.
No, but like Dios mío, now I understand how you can't find a single difference between both of us.
Yes, it's kind of annoying. All right. Let's go to.
Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Wait. What about? Okay, I don't really know a lot about net neutrality. I don't really know a lot, but what about immigration?
Oh yeah, yes.
Okay. Yes.
All right. Immigration. We're gonna have a couple questions on this. Sanctuary cities.
And terrorism. What about terrorism too? Wait a minute. Sorry.
All right. Yeah. All right. So, where do you stand on sanctuary cities? Should we ban sanctuary cities, or should we keep them? We will start with you, David.
I would like to have my opponent go first.
Oh my God. This is...
Okay. Would you like me to go first?
Yeah.
If I'm allowed to go first. Okay. So I do believe that in certain cases, sanctuary cities are needed, but I do not believe that our government should be directly funding them only because sanctuary cities are, if let's say there's a Republican, let's just say like an alternate event happens and a Republican does become president. If they choose to close the borders or which I am totally against building a wall, but if they do choose to build the wall, I I do believe in firmly rule of the land. If the law so says and this House and Senate both vote for it to be closed, I firmly believe in that and believe in the rule of law. Do I believe in the law? I may not, but I do believe in the rule of the law, the land, whatever it says, it's intact. But when it comes to sanctuary cities, they're breaking the law, but they're doing so because they're protecting people, which I do believe is fair. So I will, as president, I will protect the sanctuary cities, but I will not be kicking anyone out, as some Republicans say, kicking anyone out. But I will be putting a firm stance on immigration. I would like to see the immigration you be able to be legalized less than 6 months because that's just ridiculous. So I would like to minimize that down to 2.5 months if the Congress will let me, and because the questions are so difficult that most Americans do not understand them or cannot answer them correctly. So I would like to make it just a little easier because some of them are just here to work, and we're not giving them the benefit of the doubt by coming here. They're trying to make a better life for themselves, and they want to make a better life for their children. And I believe in that. That is totally extraordinary extraordinary to think about as an American that we're all immigrants. We all came from, unless we are Native American, we all came from different sides of the planet. And
well, Native Americans come from Asia. I mean, but that was like 5,000 years ago or so.
Yes, well, you know what I mean, though.
Don't
you know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean. They are
on the fact check.
They are but they were the original settlers here. They were here before anybody else was here.
Yeah.
Until dinosaurs, and then we're not going back in prehistoric. That's way too far. That's way too
All
far.
All right, yeah. Let's go
anyway.
To the response before we go daily dally into dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs, yes.
All right, David. Sanctuary cities. What's your take? Any experience?
Sanctuary cities would be our sanctuary cities places where immigrants go before deportation. Is that correct?
Yeah, you're right. You're not wrong.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm sorry, I do not have that much knowledge about sanctuary cities, but from what I've read in this article, sanctuary city. Okay, I don't want to debate on this issue, not because of anything, but like
it's a hard issue to try to explain, and I totally understand that.
All right.
So if we have a debate later on, I could do my research.
Yeah. We'll also have a second Democratic debate.
What about death penalty? Can we discuss?
All right, let's go to death penalty. Oh wait, no. I have another question on immigration.
Okay.
All right. So, is the problem of illegal immigration serious? I mean, certainly here up in Long Island, the voters in Long Island, hell, even Democrats think there's problems with illegal immigration with MS-13 on Long Island, and it's been a big problem for Long Island, not only for Long Island, but for the rest of the country, such as San Francisco and Los Angeles. I'm just giving Long Island as an example. What will you do about these legal immigrants who come to this country to bring harm? David, your response.
Could you repeat a brief summary on it?
All right. So the flow of illegal immigration has caused a bit of problems, especially places like Long Island, New York, Los Angeles, California, and San Francisco, California, to name a few, where there have been MS-13 epidemics.
Gang members and gang member. I can't even say it. Gang
What
members.
will you do to stop the illegal immigrants who are coming here to cause harm? David?
I don't believe that immigrants should not be allowed to come, but like there should be people at the border like to conduct small checks, brief checks on everyone who comes into the country to see if they are harmful and to see if they are not trying to sneak in any potential drugs into the United States, because that is mostly the reason that the Republicans use to justify building a wall and not allowing any illegal immigration. I'm not saying immigration should be illegal, but like there should be a more better and easier process to filter out the good ones from the bad ones, so they can, in like quote, toss out the bad ones and keep the good ones, which we know will not cause harm. If they eventually do cause harm, then they should be deported at that point. Yes, I believe that's what I believe.
All right, Troy, your response.
So I believe it's the immigration. It's so difficult because there's. Can you explain the question? Can you just say the question again? I'm sorry.
What will you do? So basically, I was pointing out
I just want to know the question again, just so I'm.
What will you do to stop the flow of illegal immigrants who are coming to this country to bring harm? Like, the bad illegal immigrants.
Okay, so I don't support a wall on the border. I think it is just a pity party. What the Republicans are saying, build a wall down there. I believe it's immoral and it's destructive to this country. Walls only separate us. Let's build bridges instead of walls. Anyway, we need more military forces down at the southern border because it would help us to block out the gang members from MS-13, such from Guatemala and other southern Guatemala, Belize, El Salvador, other Central American countries that are heavily dominated by MS-13, and we can get them out by. It's harder because we can't get them out or filter them without being considered racist or anti-immigration. And I'm not anti-immigration. I'm more pro-immigration than anything. But there's no way to really stop the illegal immigrants from coming in, illegals that have previously committed a crime or will in the future commit a crime. We just have to I guess, hope and pray that they don't. And every country has to. I mean, we don't know what people are capable of doing. We never know. It's it's kind of just like, I mean, it's kind of just roll your dice and see what happens. And that's even what Republicans say, because there's no clear way of filtering out these people without giving them a full extensive check, which would be considered racist. So there's not a lot we can do, but what we can do is we can put more men down on the ground, down by the southern border, and we can get these people legalized. We are not going to turn down anybody, but we want to see papers, and we need to have information. We cannot just be letting people in dilly dally. We need to filter these people, shorten down the length of time that we have for the immigration the going in the path of citizenship process. It takes 6 months, which is ridiculous. Shorten down 2 months, but the only way we can do that is putting boots on the ground. And I don't remember. I can't remember what article it is, but we're not allowed to have our armed forces on American soil or deployed on American soil unless there's an invasion of the nation. And I don't want to put this as an invasion of the nation, and I'm not going to as president, but there's a serious problem down there, and anybody that says it's not is blind.
All right. Any rebuttals?
No.
Of course. Any rebuttals from you, Troy?
No, I mean, not really. I mean, we just need to figure out what we're gonna do, because
yeah. You said no rebuttals.
sorry.
Oh my god, you're the worst moderator ever.
Huh?
I am the slowest response to ever make a response ever. It takes me at least 10 minutes to make a response.
Yeah, no, right. All right. Let us go to death penalty.
Ooh, big one.
Oh,
So this question is really, the death penalty is really an enduring issue. I mean, with those saying, oh yeah, we should punish these criminals with death because, I mean, they're too dangerous to be kept alive. And then the other side says, well, that's immoral and stuff like that. I'm going to ask you, Troy Hay. I'm going to ask you both. If your husband was raped and killed, would you support the death penalty?
If my husband was?
Yeah. If both of yours.
Hell to the yes. I am sorry, but I mean, as a Democrat, most Democrats do not support the death penalty in the effect of that series of an instance. 100%. I will not be when it comes to murder or rape or anything. That's where what crosses the line. So we have to make the choice to, do we want our families to be safe, and that's what we have to think about. If my family was raped or murdered, I believe that there's also certain people such as myself or any other Democrat, if their family went through that, it's such a horrifying and traumatic experience if you're the person that's happened to. And I am 100% for the death penalty if that happens.
All right. David, your response? David?
I'm sorry, I will start in a few minutes. I just need to get back.
All right, yeah, that's all right. Did you hear the question?
The death penalty?
Yeah. If your husband was
wife,
huh?
Wife.
Oh, sorry. I meant that for Troy. Sorry.
Yeah, well, for me, it's wife.
All right.
Do you want me to answer it again, or?
All right, David. If your wife was raped and murdered, would you support the death penalty?
If she was raped and murdered,
Yeah.
ooh, my God. Okay, so personally, I do not think that. Well, this is like the like
Michael Dukakis question?
Yes. This is
Exactly what it
supposed
is.
to be a repeat of that. It's a yes or no answer.
uh, uh, well, I I am how do I say this? I am not very like I okay. Give me a few minutes or a few seconds to think how to say this.
I understand what the representative or congressman or governor or senator. I think you're a congressman, correct?
He's a congressman.
Okay. I feel the congressman's um heartfelt. He's trying to respond, and I totally understand. It's a very difficult um issue because of the fact that there's people who have been unwrong, unlawfully or have been charged with a crime that they never committed and were killed under the death penalty. And with there's several people who have been charged with murder and have been killed or with lethal injection or electrocution because they were accused of murder, and years later they found out that they never committed the crime.
All
So
right, David, are you
I
ready to
feel the
respond?
congressman's felt heartfelt response in this.
Yeah,
Okay, so can I say it now?
yeah.
This is an issue that is like the abortion issue, where like I am like at the same time for it and at the same time against it.
No, I'm doing a debate. I'm doing something.
All right. So that's your response, David?
No, well, I, well, if she was raped and murdered, I believe that. Well, like the personal side, the
I'm still here. Hold on. Kimmy, get your crap and hurry up. I'm doing something, child. It's very important to me.
So
This
cute.
is the only thing that's fun in my life, and you know it.
So cute. Hey,
I'm back. Sorry.
no, it's cute. Little brother.
No, Wilson.
so for example,
Thank you for closing the door. Okay, sorry. I had my phone in my hand. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have been doing that. But anyway, I'm sorry. You can continue.
Can I continue?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Mute your mic. How about that?
I can't because I don't want to touch my phone just in case something happens to it.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna touch my phone, so I'm sorry. Continue. I'm sorry.
Okay, so this, for example, the personal issue would be the personal side would be for the death penalty. Would be for the death penalty because it would help get rid of the person who has committed the murder once. It will help to not make sure they don't make it again. But at the same time, I don't think it's good to murder a person because then, if they could be wrongfully committed, wrongfully accused of a crime, and we could have murdered an innocent person.
All right. Yeah. Any rebuttal?
So I didn't get his first response. Did he say that in the case of that he would support the death penalty?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I
Personally.
thought. Okay.
Oh.
Okay, that's personal. Okay, yeah. That's what I thought he said, but I just didn't hear. I didn't hear exactly because he was cutting out for a couple seconds, but he's back on. So I didn't hear it, but okay. Thank you.
All right. Any rebuttals?
I have no more rebuttals to my rebuttal.
No.
All right. We will go to our next thing. What makes you stand out from your opponent? We will begin with you, David.
I don't think there are many things that would separate me and my opponent. There are mainly maybe some, but I don't believe that there is much difference between both are qualified, both are seeking the nomination.
You know you are like in a competition, and then a
I don't think of this as,
primary.
but can I be honest? I don't think of this as a competition.
God.
This is not a competition to me. This is this is this is this is our this is this is so hard because our country's freedom is at stake in this election. We have so many rights that we need protected in this nation. And if we do not win this election, I believe we are in trouble. With my opponent, God, we both know that this country's in trouble. We get that. We get the problems. We get the issues that are faced in this nation. He's in the House. I'm in the Senate. We're in Congress. We represent both chambers of Congress. If we are together on a ticket, I can assure you that each side of the spectrum, whether it be progressives and conservatives in the Democratic Party, will come to us in welcoming arms. I am not. This is. I only recently got elected senator. I've been senator since 2014, so it's well, actually 2014, 13 since I was in a special election. Anyway, but there's not. We don't believe that there's anything that can stop us. America is great, and we can't. There's no more time for divisiveness. No more time. It's over. It's done.
All right. We have another question. So there is we go to environment. Where do you stand with? Who do you stand with?
The Republicans and the
The
Democrats.
environmental activists who are calling for change, or the coal miners who risk losing their jobs.
This is where this is where you may find.
All right. We start with you, Troy.
I am 100% in favor of the coal miners. Yes, I believe that the environment is vital for the future of our children. But if we were to stop the coal industry, we would be putting so many people out of work, and that's not what we want to do. The coal industry is dangerous, but it is creating jobs. It for the future, it's like we can't even people. The Democratic Party is dead set on with these environmental standards, and I'm Democrat, but we cannot be pushed back and brung down by these environmental standards. There are people jobs at stake here. I have an obligation for my state and for this nation if I become president to keep the jobs, not take them away from them. And with West Virginia, with Senator Joe Manchin, I stand behind him. I stand behind him, shoulder to shoulder beside him. Also, because his state is vital to this economy. Coal is one of our biggest exports, and if we were to totally slash coal from our exports, we would be losing millions of dollars, and that's not what I want to do. So if it's between the environment and our economy, I will 100% choose our economy.
All right, David, your response.
I think. Okay, hold on. So I don't Like the environment is something very precious and very important. The trees provide oxygen, we provide them carbon dioxide, and anything to change that is very bad. And the coal industry, they try to support it with saying that it will provide heat. So, but oh my god, I'm sorry,
It's all right.
but they oh my god, they try to support it by saying that it will help the human the population, not population, but like people. But like I just believe that the environment is something very important that should be protected, and because these things are things that there is n- if there is too much, oh my god, if there is too much action, ooh, too much action from the coal industry or from anyone against the environment, we could lose the trees and nature, all the animals that make nature such a beautiful thing. But I stand with the environmentalist.
All right. Yes, a disagreement. Yes, I feel so accomplished.
You can't.
Uh, all right, let's get to rebuttals because I'm sure there's going to be some, right?
Um. Okay, I have a rebuttal.
Yes, let's go.
Okay,
We have
so
somewhat of a debate now.
in the environmental standard, the Paris Climate Agreement is so just it's there's also people on the left side of the spectrum on this that say that the Paris Climate Agreement was bad because it our stand we were held to we we paid way too much compared to other nations. So if we were to back out, I believe it would be smarter, and I believe it would also be less smarter
Sure.
because it would be that agreement is vital to our
All
environment. And
right,
I believe
we will get
I
to
am
the
not
Paris Climate Accord soon. We got
okay. Well,
keep
anyway,
going
but
here.
I do not
Got
stand with
past
the environment.
time here.
I do not stand with the environmentalists.
All right,
I
David, a
will.
rebuttal to
I did not have a rebuttal, mostly because these girls would not shut up.
that. All right,
They they
next
make me lose my
question.
concentration.
I have a rebuttal to my rebuttal. It's
Excuse
continuing
No,
my
me?
rebuttal. I'm kidding. I'm
can't
kidding.
do that. All right, next question. The Paris Climate Accord.
Ew.
Should the U.S. be in the Paris Climate Accord, or should we not be in the Paris Climate Accord? David, you start first.
This is just like the sanctuary city one. I need to do my research first.
All
Okay,
right.
can I say something?
Yeah.
I it's with the the Paris Climate Agreement. It's there's people who whatever withdraw. There's people who want to stay. I it's it was it was a big thing when it was first because almost every nation was there. I believe, besides I think two nations that were not there, and it was enacted in late 2016. But it it was it provided. Oh yeah, sorry. It was Syria that was the only one that was not because I remember now. It was Syria that was the only one that was not in the agreement. But there's some people that say it's a hoax. I don't think climate change is a hoax. I believe it's a thing, but I think it's less of a thing that we make it, and it's gonna take a couple millions of years to change the climate. Furthermore, it's actually like believe it or not, like our climate is actually going down from what it was from recent billions of years records, and it's already been proven by thousands of scientists. And since I have an AP environmental science, and we've looked at records from like the prehistoric times, and we're actually in a time of like receding temperatures because it's not getting colder, but it's it's like level. It's like going like slanted like downward. So we're not.
All right.
It's a lot more than they make it.
All right. Any rebuttals?
No.
Okay. Now let's go to the Green New Deal. A lot of the base supports this, but outside of the Democratic base, this is very unpopular. Where do you both stand on it? Let's begin with Troy.
I should say one thing. I do not support the Green New Deal. There are several things in the Green New Deal that take out coal, and that it's with Ed Markey, my colleague in the Senate, who sits like 5 seats away from me. But going off of that, we it's they make it such more than a big deal than it is, and it's it is so unvetted that only certain people know about it. Like they haven't came out with the full plan yet. I haven't seen it. We are supposed to vote on it, I believe, next week, and there's there's nothing in there that helps us at all. It they think they're saying it's something, but we're supposed to vote on something next week that we don't even know in the what the bill is, and that is so ridiculous. So I am not for the Green New Deal until I see it. What's in it? All I know is that it takes away from ordinary American jobs. So I am against it.
All right, David, your response.
I cannot give a response because
Against it.
the response that I was going to give has already been given.
All right. We go on to our next question. Unions. Do you
I can't do unions. I can't do unions. Oh, I can, but I just okay. Continue. I'm sorry.
All right. So, do you support right to work? A lot of, or do you are you opposed to right to work?
Who's going first?
We'll go with David.
Is it right to work?
Yeah.
It says that employees are entitled to work in unionized workplaces without actually joining the union. Is that what?
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Or well, not paying dues to the union.
I have no response.
All right, Troy Hay.
Okay, so I'm the unions were in the late 1800s. I'm a history buff. I'm sorry, but in the 1800s, monopolies were forming, and there was workers that believed that they deserved rights, and that's where we get the formation of unions. So I believe in strongly in the formation of unions, along with I believe 60% and above Americans believe also in unions. But I believe that we should be able to form unions and mm, support, and as president, I will support the unions, not the monopolies.
All right.
Well, monopolies are illegal, but you know what I mean, like huge corporations, big pharma, such as that.
All right. So, any rebuttals?
No.
All right, good. Um, our next question is the Electoral College. Do you support abolishing the Electoral College in favor of a national popular vote? We begin with Troy.
No.
All right. Why?
Can I say? You ever see why?
Yeah.
Okay, it's because
You have all this time. You might as well.
because the Electoral College gives equal representation to every state. Because such as Wyoming has 3 electoral votes. It only has 600,000 people. New York has 29 electoral votes, and it has, I believe, 13 million people over like
Yeah, well, a little
like
bit over that.
anyway. It gives equal representation of each state. A state of like Wyoming is not going to be able to beat people of New York City, which are heavily Democratic. I am a Democrat, but I do not believe in abolishing electoral college. It gives equal representation to each state, and the popular vote. It's I do believe that there is illegal voting. I am a firm believer in that, but the in these like in the millions that they're saying it is, I don't believe that's true. I think it's maybe a few thousand people are illegally voting, but it's not millions. But I am for the electoral college, pro electoral college.
All right, David.
Could I ask my opponent something?
Yes.
If having an electoral college would allow have each give each all states equal representation, why do some states have more votes than others?
Because they have more population. Their population's larger than other states. That's why, like, such as Texas, which Texas is, let's say, like from my experience of reading or watching elections and reading over past elections, it's reliably conservative Republican. Correct me if I'm wrong, which it because the population is how the electoral college is if you win the vote, if you win the popular vote in that state, you get the votes. So let's say Los Angeles, because if it was popular vote, all you had to do was win Los Angeles. You'd have to win Miami, Chicago, New York City, Washington, D.C., and you have it in Seattle and other big cities, which are reliably Democratic. They've been Democratic for years. They will remain Democratic. But if we Republicans, this is where I stand bipartisan with Republicans. They know that Republican has a shot if and I do there are really great Republicans. I have some really great Republican friends. But if we were to take out the electoral college, it takes away the people that vote differently, takes away their vote. So their vote basically doesn't matter. That's how they think. And that's not how it is. They need to think that their vote does matter and their vote does count because this is a very important election.
All right.
Does that answer your question?
I would like to have a rebuttal, please.
Yes, David, your rebuttal.
If that, I have this statistic. Shush. Hey, lower your voices. So it says here that winning the top 10 cities would only give you at least 10% of the total votes available in the United States, which which clearly 20% is not enough to win an election.
No, that can't. I mean, people. There's okay. So Los Angeles has, I think, about let's say 10 million people. Okay, let's say 65% of those are Democrats. That's 6 million votes right there. Last election, there was
Los Angeles
60.
has
You
4
what?
million.
How
Los
many
Angeles has 4 million
people?
Yes.
I thought they had a lot more than that. I'm sorry, wrong. Maybe that's the wrong city. Anyway, but let's say 65% of all the big cities, mostly most big cities, like even we can consider, where South Bend, Indiana is, or let's say do you live in?
North Carolina.
Okay, so let's say not Raleigh, um Charlotte. Okay, Charlotte, Charlotte's a big city, right? It would be considered a big city.
Okay, Charlotte.
Okay, that's considered a big city, right?
What?
To you, that would be
Excuse me?
considered a big city to you, right?
Yes, for me.
Okay, okay. So in Indianapolis has about 600,000 people. North Carolina has 15 electoral votes. So let's say that um popular vote is in North Carolina. It still exists. And Republicans tend to win North Carolina pretty easily, just by a little bit. It was about 4 to 7%. Um, Charlotte would basically vote for a Democrat, or would vote more heavily Democratic because of their more liberal views. So if all the big cities from Charlotte to Los Angeles, New York, all those level and above, like more than 200,000 people and above, vote for Democrats. Democrats have a huge shot at winning. Republicans have very little shot, and that's where I sided with Republicans on is that the electoral college should not be abolished. It's very dangerous to do that in changing our whole constitution because the popular vote ensures that equal representation among states, not just few people or a one state or one side of the side of the country. Because let's face it, the West Coast is California, the East Coast is New York, or the upper East Coast is New York. It's all where the votes come from. Texas, New York, California, Florida, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Illinois, and North Carolina all together, and Texas all together would win the electoral college. So that's only 12, 13 states out of 50. That's out of 30, so 37 states that would not matter. But I'm just rambling, so you continue. I'm sorry. I
All right.
ramble a lot. I ramble a lot. It's not my
All right, we
fault.
have to move to our next question. What is your thought? All right, so we will move to taxes. All right. Do you think we should raise taxes on the top 1% and also corporations, or should we just
The
raise taxes on them?
corporations to me are not considered the 1%. They're considered another class, corporation class. But
All right,
I'm sorry, that's
all
just
right, all right.
me.
Many
You're good.
Democrats think that the corporate tax is too low, while many Republicans think that the corporate tax is too high. And of course, libertarians think that there should be like no corporate tax, aka me.
There should be no corporate. Yeah, there should be no income tax at all, and
All
no
right.
taxes at all.
We will start with David. Are you going to raise taxes on corporations?
Are corporations like businesses?
Yeah.
Um, I would like to go second because I currently need to pay something right now.
All right. And then we'll start with Troy Hay. Troy?
So there's two different sides to the argument: raising taxes and not raising taxes. if we were to raise taxes on the rich, the wealthier Americans, um, it would make more sense economics wise because we would see a higher if we were to tax, we would see a we would see more money flowing in, obviously. But it doesn't make sense because if I'm just thinking, and this is just in my head, if we kept the tax rate at let's say 25%, which is I'm just thinking about it right now. This would allow corporations to give more benefits to their workers, which would help them and their family out, putting more money in their pockets, which is what we want. We want to do that, of course. We want to put more money in their pockets. We want to take as little as possible while also figuring out other means and ways of coming up with money for, let's say, public transportation and other any other public ran anything. But anyway, if we were to raise the taxes on them, we would force them to um lay some of their workers off, fire some of their workers because they wouldn't have as much money if we were to raise it 15% or 70% as some say in the Democratic Party, which I totally disagree with. We would be the corporations would be broke. So, and we see that in like let's say what they did with the Soviet Union, the nobles were so rich and they were given very much in taxes. They were given some, but not a lot in taxes. And when the government took everything away and put so heavy taxes on them, and um um they weren't able to pay it, they were homeless. And it's ridiculous to me because they have worked their whole life to build a business up like that. And just to have it all tore down because there's some people that disagree with how much money you're making, I don't think that's right. I've worked my butt
All
off
right,
every day.
so are you going to raise taxes
I will
on
not raise
corporations or lower?
I will raise taxes, but only I will not raise it past 28%. I will not raise it past 28%.
All right, David, your response. David?
David. We have to assume that he's dead. Nope, he's not dead. We're good.
I like that little
Wait, hold on. Question.
tone that you said. So
Question. If David dies, does that mean I am presumptive nominee?
correct. Or if I drop out, which I am considering at this point.
Don't drop out. Don't do that.
I mean,
I don't like that. Don't drop out.
I
Please do
mean,
not
to
drop
be
out.
fair, you two don't disagree on anything, so it's like,
Hey, if I'm gonna send the because people can people like tune into the actually no, I don't want people to do that. Are you gonna put the debate on like YouTube or something?
yes,
It's right now
Okay.
live on YouTube.
Oh, we are?
yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. That's cool. That's cool. I didn't know
All
that.
right, David, your response.
So corporations should tax. Do you mean as in like they have to pay taxes?
Yes, they pay taxes.
Yeah, like raising their taxes, raising the corporate tax rate.
Yes.
All right. Would you raise it further than Troy Haywood raise it?
Are y'all drinking it? You're not supposed to drink that. What? Oh my god.
Oh, little kids drinking alcohol.
No, it's lotion. They're drinking lotion.
No, it's not. Did you see that you can put milk inside when it's winning?
Oh my. Oh, okay. Shush. Shush. We're literally live on YouTube.
Tell them to shut their mouth. Tell them to shut their mouths, or else they're going to bed. That's what I always do.
Shut your mouths, or else you're going to bed.
I hope we have this covered during the next Democratic debate.
What?
I hope we have this all covered during the next Democratic
It's
debate.
fine. It is fine.
Yeah.
I understand. I totally understand. 100%.
All right.
I have
Okay,
siblings.
so corporations should not be. I mean, they are also people who work. They're also people who want to get money. So I don't think they should be raised as. Oh my gosh! Shut up! I don't think. Oh my god! I'm so sorry. Shut! I don't think they should be raised as much as people would ask.
Yeah,
But-
but like Troy Hayes calling for like the corporate tax rate to be 28. Are you gonna do it further?
No. I said no more than 28%.
Yeah,
I want
no
it to
more
be
than
26%. 26% is perfect. Many
All right.
many people have said 26 is perfect.
All right, David.
Oh my god! I would like to have my opponent or like ask another question because like these girls are like talking so much.
All right. So we will move on to the question of universal basic income. Universal basic income is a relatively new idea where the government gets.
It hasn't been. It wasn't. Can I say something fast? I understand. I know what your question is.
Yeah.
Okay. It's been
where do you stand on universal basic income?
Okay, so it's been around for it's actually been around since the 70s. Jimmy Carter actually was one of the first ones to bring it up. It's more of
it's McGovern.
Who was it? McGovern? I'm sorry. Okay, so 72. I'm sorry. 1972 Democratic presidential candidate. George McGovern. Governor of Massachusetts, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Brought it up in 1972. I'm sorry. Jimmy Carter brought it up too in 76 and the 80 presidential elections. It's been around for heavily about 40 years now. 45, 46, no, sorry, 47 years now. But with it's more of a socialist argument to say that universal base health income should be it's so socialist that most people do not support it because it's all about these people say robot and stuff and with it's so entirely moronic and out of this world that I don't support it whatsoever. So no, I do not support universal base health income.
David, your response?
I would like to ask how long this debate will continue to go on for.
Not really that long. I just want to get all the stuff out of the way. We actually have one more question and then our closing statement.
Okay, what's the question again?
Where you stand on universal basic income, which I think you're probably going to agree with Troy Hay. But whatever. So, what's your response, David?
On
universal basic income.
Oh, UBI. Ugh. Someone told me about this. It was the impeached. Well, not the president. Basic income.
Yeah. Where do you stand on it?
I'm sorry. That wasn't for you. That was for.
I understand.
You're good. You're good.
Yeah.
Look, I swear, if y'all can't take care of the baby, I'll take care of it myself. Well, then take care of the baby good, or else I'm gonna take it away from you.
Oh, you look like
I'm really sorry for that.
they was just
You're
All
good.
right.
Where else can I go? They're watching. Oh my god. Okay, hold on. I'm going up. The UBI is. Can you give me like a basic summary on what it is exactly?
It's basically a check from the government to literally everybody
it's coming.
with like no requirements. It's basically welfare without the requirements. Am I? So the argument would be we would get rid of the government bureaucracy to it if we replace welfare with UBI.
I have no comment.
I'll work.
All right. One more question. Citizens United versus
Oh.
FEC.
Okay.
Do you stand with the right to assemble, or should we ban the use of super PACs? And also, will your campaign take any money from super PACs and big lobby firms? Troy, hey, your response.
My campaign is strictly grassroots. We are depending on millions of Americans to donate to our campaign, and we've already had over 300,000 donations, which have totaled up to $17 million altogether. And I have not taken I won't take a single penny from a super PAC, and that I have outlined that in my plan for the future. I will never. I didn't accept any money from super PACs in my last Senate election, and I will never do it. Nope. Sorry.
All right, David, your response.
Okay, my response
Yeah.
on what? Citizens United?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you stand with the right to? Huh?
Is Citizens United?
Well,
What's Citizens United?
It's like it's the super PACs.
Oh,
Finance campaign laws. Campaign finance laws.
yeah.
is it like accepting accepting?
Super PAC buddy.
Yeah.
It's it lifted certain limits on like how much an individual like could contribute to like their campaign.
Okay, I would like
It-
to wait a moment because someone. Okay, excuse me. I would like to take a little break. 2 minutes. What? I heard you. I'm coming. It is so hard to. Ya sé. 20.
All right. Do you mind if I add one more question to this?
No.
All right, because I kind of want to talk about free trade and everything.
Oh, okay. Free trade. Like what do you mean? There's different.
Do you support NAFTA and TPP and shit?
I don't support NAFTA. I mean, I'm sorry.
Whoa! Let's save it for when this guy answers the super PAC one.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god. We will have a second presidential debate. That's gonna happen Wednesday, I believe. Wednesday night.
Okay. What time on Wednesday night? What time Wednesday night?
About the same time as we did it tonight.
I have school on Wednesday. We can do it. What time in the afternoon? Like the late evening ish.
I mean, we can do it, 10 o'clock Eastern, 6 in the West, I guess.
Yeah, I'm on Central Time.
Oh, 7 in the West, maybe.
Okay, we can discuss this. We can discuss it when like because we
Yeah.
can do a writing one. We can do like a without voice. We can just do like a
That
written.
wouldn't be fun, wouldn't it?
That's true. That's true.
All right, David, your response? You know what? Maybe we should just save the NAFTA stuff to the second debate.
Yeah, I think that's good because like I am losing my mind right now.
All right, yeah. I'll respond to this question, and we'll get to our closing statements, and we'll be done with this.
Okay, I would like to ask what the question was because I briefly left the room.
All right. So, you stand. Where do you stand on the right to assemble with super PACs? And also, does your campaign take any money from big money super PACs?
My campaign does not take super PACs. The right to assemble, as in like people having a meeting, or like
Having a PAC.
a PAC.
Yeah, super PACs. You think
PAC
super
is a
PAC
political action committee?
Huh?
Is a PAC a political action committee?
Yes.
Okay. If people should have a political action committee, I don't think those should not be allowed. Oh God, let us sneeze.
All right. Any rebuttals?
I have no rebuttal. I'm just saying that citizens. Okay, yeah, you're right. No, I said no rebuttal. Sorry.
All right. Now we'll have our closing statements. We will, since Troy opened last time, we will end with David starting the first time.
Do I start first?
Yeah.
Okay. I would like to congratulate JP Sansko for finding a difference, which he said was very hard. Some of them have been. Most of the topics that have been said today have been some that we agreed with, and I believe agreement is very important for the United States, for America, because that allows bills to be passed based on agreement. Disagreement is also allowed, as that has been shown a few times. That if disagreement is done in a proper, humane, and good way, can also help. So I would like to congratulate him on that, which is very important. I think he should get more attention for that. I believe that everything that has been said on this stage was important. There should be more people paying more attention to the primaries, because most people pay attention to the general election, who will be there. They should pay some attention to the primary as well, which will be the person who you will see in the general election. I would like to thank Troy for saying that his vice presidential nominee would be me if he were to win. That I would like to say that is the same thing that I will offer if I win, which will be highly unlikely. If I win, I will choose Troy as my vice presidential nominee.
I mean, you are leading in polls by 13 points, David.
But after this debate, those will drop.
You might drop out.
Well, I might drop out, and my poll numbers will also drop.
I mean, are you going to drop out?
That's not a question that you should be asking. The question that needs to be asked is, what are we going to do for the country? What can we do to fix the country?
All right, Troy.
No dropping out. Okay. So there's at the end of the day, we are one people. Whether you classify yourself as a Republican, an independent, a Democrat, a Green, a Libertarian, a communist, socialist, it doesn't matter. We're all in this fight together. We're in this fight together to make America that shiniest star in the sky that we see at night. But when it comes to certain issues, and I would like to also thank JP for hosting this event and finding the differences. But at this point right now, differences mean nothing. We need unity over division, and that's what my campaign is solely based upon. We are revolving around unity, and we are taking anybody's voice, anyone that wants to make their voice heard. We are the campaign of voice. We are the voice for the people that do not have one and will not share it or are too scared to. We are finally getting our seat back at the table. We're taking back our time, our future. This is our future. We are the ones that should be dependent upon to do the bidding for the American people. We are elected to get things done. And as your next president, I will do anything in my power to preserve the Union and to deliver on our founding fathers' promises to make freedom reign in the United States of America. Thank you. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
All right. This was a very interesting debate. Let's hope the Republican debate is
stupid.
Has more disagreement to it.
Wait. What happens if all the Republicans die too? Does that mean I become president?
I guess. Don't get any ideas.
Never. No. Wait. What if I run? Can I run as a Republican too? Like, never. No one. No, like, no. It's just like thinking. Like, could you run as if you're running as a Democrat, could you also run as a Republican? And like, can you win the nomination? Like, you know how in certain how New York, like, you live in New York, right, JP?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know how
tickets in New York that doesn't really apply to the country, and there's fusion tickets in New York because Conservative Party and the Republican Party, they have to.
Yeah, but I'm joking though. I was joking though. I was kidding. I'm not even being.
Yeah.
It was
I'm actually not a Republican. I'm a conservative.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait. Like a conservative party of New York?
Yeah.
That's cool. Like there's not a lot of conservatives left, is there? Like there's more Republicans. Well, honestly, there's not very many Republicans left in New York. Unless you're upstate. Unless you're in the upstate or Staten Island.
Long Island, there's still a lot of Republicans.
Yeah, there's some Republicans in Long Island. All
right, well, where are we going with? But the Republican debate should be interesting. Jackson Hitchcock is a conservative versus AJ Walker, a liberal Republican, and then Infinite Kid, the annoying Republican. Huh?
That should be fun.
Yeah, that's definitely a debate to watch. That's tomorrow. Stay tuned.
There's a debate tomorrow.
Wait. What? It's tomorrow?
Yeah, Republicans.
Oh
Oh.
my god. Wait, what about the other one? Who's the other one? There's 3 of them.
Your
Infinite
second,
Kid.
yeah, Infinite Kid, the annoying one.
Okay.
I think we can all agree on that bipartisanly.
Yeah. But okay, well, I'm gonna go to bed. Thank you guys for including me in the debates. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
for being here and taking your time
It
to come. You know,
it
even though
was
this is really, in agreement and harmony. You know.
it was a pleasure, and we will figure out a time that we can do it next.
All right. Yeah.
So hopefully sometime this week.
All right.
All right. Thank you all,
Bye.
and good night.